Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers win the game 106-103 in a thriller. I'm telling you, it came down to one shot with KD, man. I'm just so thankful that he airballed that last shot. The stars came out tonight, man. I don't think KD missed about 6 shots tonight, first of all. LeBron James was amazing. 31 points, 5 steals, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, I believe it was. Just MVPs type stuff, man. MVPs type stuff. Anthony Davis, 27. I don't remember exactly how many rebounds he had, but he did have 9 offensive rebounds, totaling our team over 20 offensive rebounds in the game. So that, I mean, talking about who gets the game ball, I'm not really sure. Initially, it looks like for sure LeBron gets it. But when you look at those 9 offensive rebounds and you realize that our team shot 37% from the field and 30% from the three-point line, you understand that if we didn't have them second chance points, ain't no way we win this game. So the Stars just basically showed up and showed out. Austin Reeves with the big three-point shot down the stretch. He was himself tonight. He finally was Austin Reeves tonight. We've been waiting on this guy to come back. He showed up in the biggest moments in one of the biggest games of the year thus far. The atmosphere was playoff atmosphere for sure. And I'm telling you, this was a nail-biter, man. The Lakers had a big lead to start. And as I was telling y'all the halftime video, they closed it in on us when we went on a nice little stretch where we couldn't hit shots in the second quarter. Then we stretched it back up to 14, and then they came back and cut it back to, I think they came back and got the lead Phoenix did. But eventually we came back ourselves and were able to have a nice little 3-point lead here to end the game. Off of a missed free throw, which I was really concerned about. Anthony Davis was 7-8 from the free throw line and did miss the final one, but ultimately we were able to overcome all that went wrong down the stretch. Wow, I think that I have some complaints. I'm not gonna lie, I have some complaints. I really do need us to use Vanderbilt a bit more. I know he's just back fresh from injury, but there were situations that just did not have to work out. Single coverage, Kevin Durant with 2 minutes to go, and you got Taurean Prince on Kevin Durant when Kevin Durant had only missed like 5 or 6 shots. I mean, I really need this Taurean Prince love affair to go away, man. He had 3 steals tonight, 3 turnovers, and like 5 points, 4 points or something like that. I mean, no, man, no. But aside from that, pretty much everything else was okay. I just didn't love the rotations necessarily when it came to that small forward position trying to guard KD. We have to do a much better job of utilizing the length that we have. And coaches got to figure out that Taurean Prince is not a very effective basketball player against a guy like KD. I know he's supposed to be 3-and-D, but you gotta understand where a guy doesn't have it like that. Another thing that I wanted to complain about, even though it's not a huge complaint because we did get away from him, was D'Angelo Russell. 3 out of 10 or something like that. 5 assists. I didn't get enough out of D'Lo tonight, man. If you're going to be one of our best players, you can't be this inconsistent. On one night, you want to give us a fantastic play. On the next night, you're doing stuff like this. I don't know what I'm going to get out of you. It's like reaching in a Cracker Jack box, not knowing what's in there at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting from D'Lo. I'm sick of it. I need him to be a lot more consistent. If he were himself, this game would not have been as much of a nail-biter. But Austin Reeves picked up the slack. It was good to have Rui Hachimura back. It was also good, of course, to have Vando out there with the Vando effect, as I was talking about at the halftime video, helping us get boards. Overall, just playing phenomenal defense on whoever he was put on tonight, making it very difficult for guys like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And that's what was missing in the fourth quarter. We were very fortunate to win the game. I know we didn't want to put him down there because he's not a great free throw shooter or offensive scorer at this point. But, I mean, the contrast between the great defense that he plays and the confidence that a player like Kevin Durant has when a guy like Taurean Prince is playing defense on him, I mean, it knows no end, man. It just knows no end. And so I really am thankful that the Lakers won this basketball game. I'm thankful Austin Reeves was phenomenal tonight. I'm thankful LeBron James is continuing to be, a lot of people's GOAT. I don't know if he's my GOAT or not, but I can tell you that Michael Jordan wasn't doing none of this at 39 years old. I can tell you that. He wasn't doing none of this at 39. So we need to start understanding that aspect of this game. LeBron James is going to be 39 years of age in about, 20 days? Something like that. And he played MVP ball tonight in one of the biggest moments, was spearheading everything that was going on down there, was vocal, was active, was the best conditioned athlete on the floor as usual. And, he's rising up the rankings, man. He's rising up the rankings. I don't know how far people want to slide him behind Michael Jordan or other guys and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, longevity really does hold weight, man. And what he's doing right now, I don't think has ever been done by anybody in any sport that I know of. Not at this age, not at this level. Absolutely not. And so that's something that needs to be understood. I told you guys, and when you're in a tournament situation, there's one thing I know for sure is LeBron James is going to be awake for a tournament type atmosphere. If it's a playoff like atmosphere, if it's something to win, winner takes all type situation, he's going to be wide awake. And he played some of his best ball tonight, in my opinion. Even though the 3-point shot wasn't overly falling, I just thought that his activity on both sides of the floor with the 5 steals and the 31 points, heavy on the assists, heavy on the boards. I mean, he played one of the most complete games I'd seen him play as a Laker, honestly. When you consider how fast he was getting out in those passing ranges and getting stops at the beginning of that game. Kudos to the Lakers for forcing a lot of turnovers and not turning the ball over very much. We only had 10 on the game. I think we forced maybe 22 or something like that. So you consider the fact that we were shooting so poorly from the field versus how many offensive rebounds and how few turnovers that we had versus how many turnovers they ultimately had forced upon them. You could see how we won the game because we were missing so many damn shots, but we were getting enough stops and second chance points to make up the difference. So that's where Anthony Davis comes in with those 9 offensive rebounds. And I just thought he was really aggressive from start to finish as well. I mean, like I said, the stars came out tonight, man. Grayson Allen had a huge game. If it wasn't for Grayson Allen, this game wouldn't have been that close at all. He hit like 4 threes. He could not miss. Kevin Durant throughout most of this game could not miss at all. So it was just becoming very frustrating. We were having to score so much more difficult in so many more difficult ways than them because they just had pure shooters out there just knocking shots down left and right. And as I mentioned, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker both had foot injuries that they were dealing with throughout the course of this game. So I'm aware of that. No Bradley Beal. So, Phoenix was not at full strength, but they gave us all we could handle, man. They really did. They gave us all we can handle. And we barely crawled out of here with a victory. But we did indeed crawl out of here with a victory. And so the next game will be against the New Orleans Pelicans in Vegas on the 7th, which is a Thursday. I'm not sure exactly what time it is. And, of course, Phoenix will have to play the Sacramento Kings as a consolation game or however that's worded. So we move on, man. We stay undefeated. If I'm not mistaken, that was our 5th or 6th tournament game. I'm really not sure. I have lost count, but we haven't lost a single one of them. And, getting past Kevin Durant in a situation like this, Devin Booker in a situation like this deserves a trophy in and of itself. When you consider the type of shooting that KD's doing, I was listening to Rasheed Wallace today on a podcast, and he was essentially saying that he felt that Kevin Durant's the best player in the world. I don't think he's the best player in the world, but I can tell you that the way that he makes the game look when he shoots the ball, you just really feel like no matter how hard you're trying, he can just come down there with an easy rhythm shot and just bring the score right to where it needs to be. And that's what we saw all night long, man. It was him just scoring the ball with absolute ease from behind the arc in rhythm. No matter how hard we fought, the score was always within arm's reach because of his shooting ability. And so I don't know where he ranks, but I can tell you that he is shooting at a level that is unreal. And we are very, very blessed to have been able to defeat him in this game, man. I'm just being honest with y'all. As impressive as all of the stars were, he was as impressive as anybody, man. Because, we couldn't pull away. No matter how many boards we got, no matter how many turnovers we had, he was still right there. And even when you were feeling like you were up by a little bit, you knew you were one shot away from him making the score completely close. And he just kept hitting us with them daggers, man. He just kept hitting us with those. So when that last shot airballed, I was feeling a certain level of relief that I hadn't felt all season, man. So that's the type of angst that he puts in the hearts of fans when you have to go up against that dude, man. So I'm glad we had Bron on our side playing phenomenal. He had to play phenomenal in order to beat that man, straight up. And that's what I think, man. I think Aside from that, Yusuf Nurkic, I think he was a bit of a headache, even though he didn't score a whole lot tonight. You could tell he's in a nice rhythm about his overall game. He gave us trouble, had a nice plus minus. But our team was a little too much for him, just a little too much for him forcing steals. You ain't gonna look at you're not gonna look at the stat sheet and see a whole lot from our bench. But I can tell you that Vando, Cam Reddish, yes, Torian Prince with the 3 steals, Jackson Hayes, those guys all contributed to this basketball game and the win here. D'Angelo Russell, it was kind of tough. We got away from him, and I think we were better for it in this game. But, we saw effort. We saw intensity. We saw playoff basketball in December, and that is not something you could say you've seen before. The in-season tournament is a raging success, if you ask me. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I love the intensity of the basketball that I've seen. I'm happy that my team is still alive within this tournament. And kudos to the NBA for putting together fantastic competitive basketball this early in the season, man. You're giving these guys something to really, really fight for this early in the season. And, it's time to see the Pelicans, man. You got ex-Lakers over there. Obviously, you're talking about Brandon Ingram, Larry Nance Jr. They're gonna want to beat us, man. They're gonna want to really take it to the Los Angeles Lakers. You got Zion Williamson. These are guys we haven't seen this season, unlike the last couple of teams that we've seen a lot of. So, we got a lot to consider, and we only got a day's rest to figure it out. But what I can say is Vegas is a Laker town, rather. And I think we'll have the crowd. I think we'll definitely have the crowd. In the meantime, though, we still got 2 more matchups against the Phoenix Suns, one on January 11th and another, I'm not really sure, somewhere further down the road. But we're 3-0 against the Phoenix Suns, and you got to feel really good about that, given the fact that this could be a team we see in the playoffs. Granted, they haven't been fully healthy in any of those matchups, and this is the first one we've been fully healthy just the same. And it was close. And so this is not one of those situations where you could say you really dominated them, because 2 out of those 3 games came down to 1 shot. So, this is going to be tough going forward, trying to beat the Pelicans. Obviously, we feel great about this matchup tonight, though. We won all of our home games in this tournament. We won all the road games in this tournament thus far. We won every game in this tournament. And I couldn't be more proud of the guys, man. I really couldn't, especially given the fact that we didn't shoot well, but we turned our length into defense that really created opportunities in areas that we are pleased with. I was listening to Vanderbilt talk about the vision of this team and what they were intentionally having in mind when they put this team together. Is kind of what we're seeing now. Yeah, we're not the greatest offensive squad, but when you consider what our length can do defensively, and you consider what our length should be able to do rebounding the ball, we're going to be difficult to beat even if we're not scoring the ball very well. And that's exactly what you saw tonight. Phoenix Suns would likely have ripped us apart if we didn't have that length on the floor. With the team that we lost against the Philadelphia 76ers with, we probably would have got beat by over 15 points tonight for sure. So that's the Vando effect. That's Cam Reddish. And that's what those guys do for everyone else who they are on the floor with at any given moment. Rui Hachimura, they just make Austin a better player. And that's really what it came down to. Austin Reeves. We were up by 1 with like a minute and 50-something seconds to go, however the clock looked. And he took a shot that was with 15 seconds left on the shot clock and swished it. They gave him a little space. He did a little step back and let it fly. I felt like he stepped into his confidence in a way that we haven't seen since the playoffs last year, man. And so I couldn't have been more pleased with him. I was a little concerned if that shot didn't go, what would have happened. But he gave us the space that we needed to win this basketball game with that ultimate shot. And, he did it with AD and Bron on the floor. It was just a very ballsy shot, man. Very ballsy, very confident. And he was himself. He was Austin Reeves. This is the Austin we've been looking to see. Not the guy who's been struggling, missing shots, and not making defensive plays, but the guy who's doing everything necessary to be as efficient as possible on both sides of the floor and the board. And that's what I saw tonight. Just a guy that came back around to being his real self. And if he can continue to play like this, we ain't going to be losing too much. And I do think that a lot of what he's got going on and playing positive has to do with him not having so much of a responsibility on the wing. And that's where Vando comes in to give him a break a little bit. Rui and Cam, they make it so that he's fresher in the end of games in the way that we saw him tonight. I mean, the way he was dribbling the ball tonight, Austin Reeves, I mean, my God, man. He looked like a globetrotter out there in the fourth quarter. And he's just not usually like that this season because he's usually gassed a little bit by that time. So, I mean, he was the difference for me. Obviously, LeBron James, Anthony Davis played amazing. But if Austin doesn't do those things in the moments that he did them, we lose this game too. And so I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I don't know what else to say as far as who gets the game ball. I really don't know, man. I'll probably give it to Bron, honestly, just because of how amazing he was on both sides of the floor and the tone that he set, and ultimately how he was cutting all over the basket. We really missed a lot of chippies out there as a team, missing layups and stuff like that, as we figured 37% from the field is going to do that to you. 30% from the three. We didn't shoot great. In fact, we shot poorly, very poorly, to be honest. But you make up for it defensively, man. You make up for it on the boards, and you make up for it in not turning the ball over. So everything necessary to make sure that we needed to win this game while shooting poorly is what took place, man. That's what it really comes down to. You just couldn't be more pleased with the floor game that we run out there. And if you're not making shots, these are the things that your team needs to be doing to win basketball games. And this is the blueprint, the blueprint for that. If you're a coach and shots are not falling, you're still trying to figure out how to win, you tell your team to watch highlights of this right here from the Los Angeles Lakers. Because you're rebounding the ball, you're forcing steals, you're taking care of the ball, and you're using your effort to try not to foul. And I think the Lakers did a very good job of doing that. Meanwhile, I can't say that they weren't calling a whole lot of fouls for us. We were getting hit in the head, chopped down in the paint in the fourth quarter, wasn't getting no calls. That was a bit frustrating for me as a fan. And we overcame it. That's what it really came down to. And so, kudos to the LA Lakers, man. I can't say enough about how well we played without shooting well. And that's the key to it all, man. So, yeah, man. In-season tournament, home games, regular season, however you look at that in-season tournament, that's over with. Now we into the final rounds. It's the Final Four, man. That's what it is. Lakers versus Pelicans, Bucks versus Pacers, and whoever wins those two matchups goes to the Cup final. You know what I mean? And whoever wins that game obviously gets the chip, the cup rather, and obviously gets the $500,000 apiece. So the Lakers have been very intentional on making themselves eligible for that, and they had to fight tooth and nail for this one. We didn't have no easy game, and so that's really what it came down to. We are definitely very, very happy with our Los Angeles Lakers tonight, man. And the stars were out. Y'all know the atmosphere was fantastic. Kim Kardashian and Young Saint sitting on the sideline there. You saw some of everybody in the building tonight. Freddie Gibbs was over there, I think, with his son, and it was just a big atmosphere tonight, filled with stars. And this is what the Lakers are signing up for. When the NBA puts together an in-season tournament, you're hopeful it comes down to something like this, with a chance for you to see Bron versus Giannis in the final or something like that. So hopefully we can deliver on our end. And this is fantastic. This is exactly what the NBA signed up for. This is what you want to see. I'm sure the ratings were amazing. The game didn't disappoint. The stars, who you expect to play well, played amazing. And I can tell you, I'm just gaining more respect for those players, man. For the stars that are on the floor tonight. Especially LeBron James and Kevin Durant. They did not disappoint at all. So that's pretty much what I got to say. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching.